Look at this situation, man. Today is officially, hands down, the absolute worst day of Chud the Builder's entire life since the handcuffs clicked on his wrist and he got hauled off to jail. Let me break down for you exactly why today is so much more devastating, so much more soul-crushing than any other day he's been sitting behind those iron bars. It's because today, for a split second, there was a tiny, microscopic glimmer of hope in his eyes. All his little internet echo chamber buddies, all his digital foot soldiers have been hyping him up for weeks, talking about, yo, he's coming home today, today's the day the system bends, today is the day you get released from that cell. They pumped him full of that pure, unadulterated false hope. And to sit there in that courtroom and watch the judge completely, systematically rip that hope away, to watch the judge, that good upstanding son of the law, completely extinguish that little twinkle right out of Chud the Builder's eyes. It was
transfer from dual.com.
I know some things about that. There was an attempt from Dual to send Mr. Leverson $1 million in funds. There was some kind of flag that a bank put on those funding, and then the individual owner, or one of the owners of Dual, I'm not exactly sure how that's all structured, but one of the owners of Dual is wanting to send him that collateral personally. So I believe that's in transit as we speak. But again, between the insurance and Dual's actual cash money that Mr. Leverson will be holding, there's the $1 million right there in full. The court very much. But again, that's more of a security for Mr. Leverson and his company at this juncture. We have the capacity to post the bond. So that would just, I hope, put any fears to rest from the court that if Mr. showed that there wouldn't be funds to come to the county. County making a lot of gambling folks. A lot of folks like to gamble.
It was actually an illegal activity in Tennessee.
But it's not in Armenia, which I think is where
it's illegal. Technically, using my computer, using your platform.
It was an absolute spectacle to watch, man. It was beautiful. It was majestic. But for Chud, it was an absolute devastating nightmare. Before we dive into the absolute madness of this court case, let me talk to the hustlers out there for a second. If you want to learn exactly how I generated $142,000 directly from YouTube just this month alone, you need to stop playing games and join my exclusive community right now by clicking the link in the description below. That is where I give you guys the literal blueprint, the exact tools to scale on YouTube, master the algorithm, and secure your own bag. Plus, I'm offering you guys the unprecedented opportunity to collaborate directly with me. We're talking joint videos, joint reaction segments that get cross-posted on both of our channels, and I'll even personally promote your content across my entire social media apparatus. Don't you want to level up and work with the best? Stop hesitating. Click the link in my description, join the community, and let's start grinding and making this generational wealth together. Now let's get back to the circus, man. Because you could not tell these people that Chud wasn't sleeping in his own bed tonight. They had already convinced themselves. If you let them tell the story, the victory party was already booked. His hyper-aggressive PR guy was already all over Twitter, aggressively declaring victory before the judge even banged the gavel. This man literally sat on his phone and typed out an update, screaming to the world, update 1 p.m. Source for Chud today. And notice something highly peculiar here, guys. Pay attention to the linguistics. All of a sudden, they want to start calling him Dalton in public. Why call him Dalton all of a sudden, right? Why the sudden shift to the government name? It's obvious, man. They're trying to deliberately deviate away from the heinous, toxic actions that he committed under the moniker of Chud. That is the brand he built. That is the name he chose when he was out here acting wild in the public square. Call him Chud. Do not let them run away from his actions or sanitize his record now that the system is pushing back. But let's look at what this PR guy wrote. He goes, everything is looking good for Chud. The court will certainly try to kangaroo out and stall his justice. But bond should come through and his misdemeanor bond should be dismissed. Lawyers optimistic and ready to see this through. Look at the absolute audacity, man. He's out here publicly claiming that the prosecutors are running a kangaroo court, that they are doing everything in their dirty power to stall the wheels of justice, but that the judge is going to see right through the state's narrative, grant the bond, validate their sketch money, and completely throw out the misdemeanor charges. Sir, I got some incredibly bad news for y'all, man. I got some absolutely terrible soul-crushing news for every single person out there who genuinely believed Chud was walking out of that courthouse today. So they pull up to court, right? The defense stands up.
Sure, I hope Tennessee changes that one day because I like poker games, but not yet. But I believe even a casino in Tunica or Vegas could come in here and pay bail money and things like that if they wanted to. I don't think we'd consider it to be tainted by criminal activity. Yes, sir. And what we're doing with that whole statute anyways is we're trying to seize drug funds. We're trying to keep drug money from being in the community. That's the whole purpose of that chapter.
Where we are, bonds going to stay the same. Additional curfew restrictions as to the bond situation. It's been the practice of this court and continues to be so that under our local rules, courts have to approve any bond, technically, any bond over $75,000. Any one bond, traditionally my practice, to not go over $100,000. It's going to continue to be my practice. That sort of troubles me. So I'm going to leave the restriction in place. Any bonding company would be limited to $100,000, translates into
You accept Mr. Rosen as appropriate source, correct, based on his testimony?
he divided up among 5 bonding companies. I'm not going to let him get in the bonding business. And let's be clear, it wasn't, I'm not real clear that Mr. Rosen's getting ready to clean out his $500,000 savings account, write a check to Wendy Davis, clerk at Circuit Court in Montgomery County. It's up to him.
Straightens their tie, and they essentially tell the judge, yo, Your Honor, okay, look, we got this highly sketchy, completely unregulated, illegal gambling operation based out of the country of Armenia that wants to immediately wire us a cool $1 million in cash to fully secure Chud's bond. They literally tried to route a whole $1 million through a standard banking institution, but the compliance department at the bank took one look at that incoming wire, immediately flagged it, and said absolutely not. We are not touching this transaction. This looks like straight up blood money. So now that their primary banking channel is completely frozen, they are scrambling behind the scenes, desperately trying to find alternative, back alleyways to wire over these massive funds so they can use them to bail out Chud the Builder. But it gets even wilder, guys. Another character enters the courtroom drama, Alex Rosen. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The controversial white creator that all these black commentary channels love to collab with for those high-intensity predator catcher videos. This man loves the drama so much and apparently loves the ideological struggle so deeply that he pulled up to the court ready to put up $100,000 of his own personal cash. Cash that he earned, by the way, by literally spending his days pretending to be a 16-year-old kid on the internet and having highly explicit conversations with grown men to trap them. That is his literal business model. That is how he funds his lifestyle. So Alex Rosen takes the physical stand in a court of law, and the prosecution asks him to explain under oath exactly why he is so eager to hand over $100,000 of his hard-earned internet money to secure the freedom of a man like Chud. And his reasoning, guys, it is absolutely filthy, completely shameless, and transparent. Let's look directly at the transcript of what this man said to the court. I'm hoping to bond him out by myself. I'm a free speech absolutist, and I just don't think he should be in jail right now. Are you kidding me, man? Free speech? Let's call a spade here, guys. This situation has absolutely zero to do with the First Amendment or free speech absolutism. That is the ultimate corporate shield. The reality is you want to bail out Chud because you share the exact same toxic ideological worldview. You've been out here victimizing and target harassing minority communities online for years. You look at Chud and you see a literal mirror image of yourself. You look at Chud sitting in that orange jumpsuit and you suddenly realize that his current reality is very likely about to be.
Your Honor, there might be 20 bonding companies in this county. And it's my understanding that maybe 1 or 2 are willing to do business with us. Is there any way the court would consider raising the amount of money that one bonding company can operate? 10 different bonding companies is onerous. It's very difficult for us to get 10 bonding companies to do business with us directly.
That's a Pandora's box, but I'm not going to answer it up. That's a policy that has been followed for some time. In fact, I think I actually increased the amount for my predecessor. I do find it somewhat peculiar. As I look at the materials, it looks like the $1 million, quite frankly, it's not clear whether the $1 million is being transferred to the surety company to, I guess, keep LA bonding in good graces and keep their capacity where it needs to be to write other bonds, but for whatever reason, I am concerned. That's sort of
become your future reality. You operate using the exact same playbook. And you know, deep down inside that, when you spend your entire career shouting vile things at the wrong person in the wrong neighborhood, eventually real-world consequences are going to catch up to you. You identify with him on a cellular level, so let's stop the cap. Stop hiding behind this noble free speech narrative. It is complete unadulterated nonsense, and absolutely nobody in that courtroom or on the internet is buying it for a single second. Now here's where the legal chess match gets beautiful. The judge looks at Alex Rosen and says, okay, look, your $100,000 asset allocation is technically approved. But guess what? It means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Even with Alex Rosen's $100,000 being legally cleared by the court, Chud's team still has to go out into the community and find 10 separate independent bail bondsmen. Why? Because the judge made it abundantly clear that under the long-standing local rules and practices of this specific jurisdiction, an individual bail bondsman is strictly prohibited from putting up more than $100,000 for a single case. Think about the math on that, man. If Chud's total financial obligation requires a massive aggregate of security and Rosen can only cover one single slot, they are left with a massive shortfall. They have to find 9 other professional bondsmen in that town to step up and put their names and credit lines on the line for $100,000 each. And let me tell you something right now, they are never going to find those 9 people. Why? Because the local bail bondsman in Chud's town looked at his entire history, looked at his public behavior, and collectively said, yeah, no, we are absolutely not supporting this man. The vast majority of the legal professional community in that area explicitly stated, we don't like this guy. We view him as a volatile nuisance to civilized society. We view his rhetoric as borderline domestic terror. We are not touching this case with a 10-foot pole. The local bondsmen are effectively on strike against Chud. They're treating his file like it's radioactive, and that is exactly why this sketchy Armenian gambling company had to be brought into the equation in the first place, man. They needed a massive centralized entity outside the local jurisdiction that was willing to assume the entire $1 million risk all at once to get Chud out of that cell. These Chudettes, these internet disciples, genuinely thought they had the entire legal system completely figured out. They thought they found the ultimate loophole until the judge opened his mouth. Oh, let me tell you, when that judge started speaking from the bench, you could see the absolute despair, the pure panic wash over the defense table. These internet figures genuinely operate under the delusion that they are completely above the law. They truly believe that the rules of criminal procedure and state statutes simply do not apply to them because they have an online audience. They think they can violate boundaries at every single turn, scream content creation, and walk away clean. But that is not how real life works, homie. That is not how the judicial system functions. This is a court of law built on rigid rules, established regulations, and strict institutional order. And when the judge started breaking down the reality of the situation, he completely, utterly annihilated Chud's entire legal strategy. And let's be completely honest about his defense attorney here, man. Everyone in the legal community kept hyping this dude up, talking about, oh, he's a top-tier litigator. He's an elite criminal defense attorney. I'll be real with you, I did not see it today at all. This man was up there stumbling, fumbling, stuttering over his words, and completely failing to articulate a single cohesive legal argument. He showed up to a high-stakes bond hearing completely empty-handed and visually unprepared. The judge literally chewed him up and spit him out for dinner. Let's look directly at the actual raw court transcript so you can see exactly how the judge broke the bad news to Chud and his struggling counsel. The judge leans forward and asks, "Transfer from Duel.com, anything about that?" The defense attorney clears his throat, completely nervous, and stammers out, "I know some things about that. There was an attempt from Duel to send Mr. Leverson $1 million in funds. There was some kind of flag that a bank put on those fundings, and then the individual owner or one of the owners of Duel, I'm not exactly sure how that's all structured, but one of the owners of Duel is wanting to send him that collateral personally. So I believe that's in transit as we speak, but again, between the insurance and Duel's actual cash money that Mr. Leverson will be holding, there's the $1 million right there in full. The court very much. But again, that's more of a security for Mr. Leverson and his company at this juncture. We have the capacity to post a bond, so that would just, I hope, put any fears to rest from the court that if Mr. showed that there wouldn't be funds to come to the county, make a lot of gambling folks. A lot of folks like to gamble. The judge doesn't even let him finish before dropping the absolute hammer. It's actually an illegal activity in Tennessee. The defense lawyer tries to quickly scramble, but it's not in Armenia, which I think is where the judge shuts it down instantly. Illegally technically using my computer, using their platform, and I'm in Tennessee. Oh my God, man, they could have saved themselves an entire hour of embarrassing court presentation if they had just sat down and watched my previous video. In my last upload, we broke this down completely. We said it plain and clear. Sweepstakes casinos and unregulated digital gambling operations are completely illegal under the state laws of Tennessee, period. It is completely unauthorized in over 30 out of the 50 states in this country, and even in the handful of states where it technically operates, it exists in a highly volatile, heavily scrutinized legal gray area. So you have a corporate entity that is generating its primary revenue stream directly from an activity that is classified as illegal within the jurisdiction of the United States. You cannot take that illegally derived capital and try to use it to secure the legal release of a federal or state defendant in an American courtroom. Bro, it is simply not going to happen. It does not matter if the activity is completely normalized and legal in Armenia. What kind of law degree does this attorney have, man? That is the exact equivalent of me standing up in front of a federal judge and arguing, hey, look, Your Honor, selling illicit narcotics is technically legal or unregulated in certain rural parts of the African continent. So when you ask me where this $1 million in cash came from to bail out my client, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It came directly from our international drug trafficking syndicate and blood diamond operations. But hey, it's legal over there, so we're good, right? Like what? Are you completely out of your mind? To suggest that you can utilize funds sourced from an enterprise that violates domestic law to bond out a citizen in an American court of law is absolute lunacy. And the fact that an actual licensed practicing attorney stood up in a courtroom and attempted to make that argument with a straight face tells you everything you need to know about their mindset. These people genuinely think their wealth and internet clout entitled them to special, customized privileges. They expected the judge to just bend the statutory framework for them. But this judge is holding the line with absolute unyielding firmness. You're going to do things by the book, or you're going to sit in a cell. Now let's talk about the broader conversation surrounding this case, because I want to be completely transparent with my audience. I'm out here advocating for strict accountability. I don't know how the rest of you feel about it, okay? A lot of people love to play the centrist game, talking about, oh, this is America, we have to protect everyone's abstract freedom of speech. Let me tell you how I operate. We do not play fair, and we do not extend unearned leniency when it comes to overt toxic racists, homie. Absolutely not. Personally, I want to see every single systemic mechanism used against him, bro. I want him to experience the absolute full weight of the rules and regulations. But in this specific instance, the beautiful irony is that the judge doesn't even have to break the rules to stop him. The judge is being completely fair, completely objective, and completely adhering to standard judicial protocol. The judge is ensuring that the state provides a standard, uniform process. The problem is that Chud doesn't want a fair trial. He wants special treatment. He wants elite privileges, and the court is completely denying him that luxury. He is being treated exactly like every single other ordinary citizen who enters that courthouse. Chud's high-priced legal team walked into a room and literally asked a government official to accept tainted money for a bond, and the judge looked them dead in the eye and said, no, I cannot accept that source. And now the entire internet fan base is online crying, claiming that Chud is being politically persecuted and treated unfairly. Give me a break, man. Let's go back to the transcript to see exactly how the judge responded to the lawyer's pathetic poker analogy. Yes, sir, I hope Tennessee changes that one day because I like poker games, but not yet. But I believe even a casino in Tunica or Vegas could come in here and pay bail money and things like that if they wanted to. I don't think we consider it to be tainted by criminal activity. Yes, sir. And what we're doing with that whole statute anyways is we're trying to seize drug funds. We're trying to keep drug money from being in the community. That's the whole purpose of that chapter. We want bonds to stay safe. Additional curfew restrictions as to the bond situation, it has been the practice of this court and continues to be so that under our local rules, courts have to approve any bond. Quite technically, any bond over $75,000, one bond. Traditionally, my practice is to not go over $100,000. It's going to continue to be my practice. That source troubles me. So I'm going to leave the restriction in place. Any bonding company would be limited to $100,000. Translates into, you accept Mr. Rosen as appropriate. So it's correct based on his testimony. He divided up among 5 bonding companies. I'm not gonna let him get into the bonding business. And let's be clear, I'm not real clear that Mr. Rosen is getting ready to clean out his $500,000 savings account. Write a check to Wendy Davis, clerk of the circuit court, Montgomery County. It's up to him. Oh my goodness, man, I absolutely love this judge. He is incredibly witty, incredibly sarcastic, and completely snarky from the bench. He basically tells the defense, yeah, sure, I'll legally validate Alex Rosen for his specific $100,000 contribution. No problem. So then the defense team immediately starts hyping it up, bragging about how Alex has a massive $500,000 sitting in his personal savings account, begging the judge to clear the entire $500,000. And the judge looks at them and basically says, look, if this internet character genuinely wants to completely empty out his entire life savings to bail out his buddy, cool, let him do it, sir. Write the check directly to the court clerk, but let's be entirely real. I don't think he's actually going to do that. And let me tell you something, I don't think he is either, guys. That $500,000 claim is an absolute massive bluff for social media clout. There is no universe where that man is going to completely liquidate his entire personal bank account and hand it over to a government clerk in Montgomery County just to get Chud out of jail. And even if he was crazy enough to do it, the math still wouldn't add up. He would still be short another $500,000 to meet the full requirements. But here's where the comedy truly peaks, guys. Chud's lawyer looks up at the bench, clearly desperate, looking for any ounce of judicial sympathy, and says, Your Honor, look, there are over 20 independent bail bonding companies operating in this local county, but only 1 or 2 are even willing to speak to us or do business with our client. Sir, please have mercy on us. Think about the sheer desperation of that plea, man. He's admitting in open court that his client is so widely disliked, so toxic to the local community, that the entire business apparatus has completely blacklisted him. So the lawyer tries to ask for a massive policy exception. He says, look, if you keep these rigid restrictions in place where a single bondsman can only cover $100,000, we are going to need a minimum of 10 separate companies to cooperate, and we only have 2. Can you please alter the rules and allow us to bring in an out-of-state or out-of-city bonding company to clear Chud? These people are completely shameless, man. I keep telling you, all they want is special privileges. They want the entire judicial infrastructure of the state of Tennessee to completely bend and reshape its policy just to accommodate their specific, messy situation. Let's look at how the lawyer tried to phrase it. Hey, Your Honor, there might be 20 bonding companies in this county, and it's my understanding that maybe 1 or 2 are willing to do business with us. Is there any way the court would consider raising the amount of money that 1 bonding company can operate? 10 different bonding companies is onerous. It's very difficult for us to get 10 bonding companies to do business with Mr. Leverson, and the judge looks right back at him and completely shuts it down with 1 word. That's a Pandora's box that I might not answer. That's a policy that has been followed for some time. In fact, I think I actually increased the amount of my practice. Denied. Boom, just like that. Denied, man. You guys have some serious nerve. These people are all over Twitter and Reddit crying tears of oppression, talking about how Chud is being subjected to cruel and unusual punishment, while their actual lawyers are spending their entire time in court demanding customized rules and special exceptions that no regular minority defendant would ever receive in a million years. Just look at them, man. Take that long, embarrassing walk of shame back to the holding cell, you absolute lawbreaker. The judge goes on to state, I do find it somewhat curious. As I look at the materials, it looks like the $1 million. Quite frankly, it's not clear whether the $1 million is being transferred to the surety company to, I guess, keep local bonding good prices and keep their capacity where it needs to be right on bonds, or for whatever reason. That sort of troubles me. Look at what these unmelanated lawbreakers tried to pull on a sitting judge, man. They tried to run a sophisticated financial fast one right in front of the bench. They are up there begging the judge to increase the individual bondsman limits, while simultaneously requesting permission to bring in an out-of-town corporate bondsman. But at the exact same time, they are forced to admit that the $1 million from the Armenian gambling entity is already in motion. But the judge caught the discrepancy immediately. He looks at the paperwork and says, hold on a second. If you guys genuinely had every intention of using a local in-town bail bondsman like you claim, then why did you already initiate the wire transfer of that $1 million to a completely out-of-town entity? Something here is not adding up. The judge openly stated that this entire financial arrangement looks highly suspicious and problematic, and I completely agree with him. It looks like they are up to something incredibly shady and nefarious behind the scenes, man. But guess what, guys? It looks like Chud isn't going to be lonely in that jail for very much longer. It looks like a few of his internet buddies are about to take that exact same ride and join him behind bars very, very shortly. The Caucasity is operating at an all-time high right now because his main PR spokesperson, the guy who publicly speaks for the entire Chud brand, just took to social media and essentially announced that they are planning to stage a literal coup in Clarksville. They are out here on the internet talking like they are ready to launch a whole new insurrection just because their favorite content creator didn't get his way in the court of law today. They are actively issuing public threats directly targeted at the district attorney. Let me tell you something right now. Threatening a sitting district attorney is the absolute fastest, most guaranteed track to a maximum security prison cell you can find. Oh, we are about to have an absolutely legendary summer, guys. Check out the text of what this absolute idiot wrote online. The fan account is a decentralized, privately funded, crowdsourced collective of hyper-creative individuals across every field of expertise, united to back the most critical political and cultural fights in this country with the cause of our choosing. We operate through conscience-driven. What absolute garbage, right? We cannot be bought. We choose to fight, we choose the cause, and once we choose, we do not stop. We will make sure the truth comes out, whether you like it or not. See you in Clarksville. And it gets so much worse, guys. He follows that up by saying they are going to become every corrupt court's worst nightmare. They are literally threatening to pull up and disrupt the entire judicial process. He posts, "See you soon, Clarksville," and uploads a graphic of the local district attorney, Robert Nash, viewed through a pair of sniper binoculars. He literally wrote, "I'm gonna flip Tennessee inside out. They think they are prosecuting Chud, but we are going to prosecute them. Yo, you're going straight to jail, bro." You have to almost respect the absolute unhinged delusion of these people, man. The entire community is sitting back watching this unfold in absolute disbelief. And look, to all the diverse viewers who tune into this channel every single day, I know we got people from all backgrounds who lock in with the content. We rock with the people who rock with justice. If you're a reasonable person who sees right through this Chud madness, let yourself be heard in the comment section right now. Drop a comment saying, "I'm locking in with the culture and we do not support Chud." Let me know down below so I can personally salute you. I'm going to personally send a direct voice note to every single person in the comments who stands up and says they are not rocking with this man's toxic behavior. But when I say this, please understand the reality of what we are dealing with. This level of extreme privilege and arrogance only belongs to a very specific, unhinged subset of online figures. These people genuinely believe that because a court didn't grant them immediate special exemptions, they have the right to travel to a city, target a district attorney, and threaten the infrastructure of law and order. Are you completely losing your mind? Have you lost all connection to reality? See, minority communities in this country understand the concept of systemic boundaries very well, homie. We know from generations of experience that the judicial system has historically never been a walk in the park for us. We've had to sit back and watch horrific situations where individuals hunt down and harm young kids, and the legal system moves incredibly slow to deliver justice. We understand the stakes, we know exactly how far the line goes. But these internet figures, they operate like there's absolutely no such thing as law, order, or consequences. They truly behave like they own the entire country and can dictate terms to a state judge. And let me tell you right now, they are about to find out the hard way. They are about to get the most brutal, rude awakening of their entire lives. If you think you're about to pull up to Tennessee and bully a state district attorney, oh man, good luck to you. Go ahead and try it. See exactly how that plays out for you. Let me know down in the comment section exactly what you guys think about this entire unfolding disaster, bro. I want to see a massive discussion down there, man. Do you guys think Chud received a completely fair and uniform process in court today? Let me know your thoughts. And look, if you made it this far into the video and you want to lock into another high-intensity, deeply researched breakdown, make sure you click on the video appearing right here on your screen right now to find out exactly how Dame Dash just completely exposed Jay-Z in a major way. We are diving deep into that corporate music drama, so click that video link immediately, support the channel, and I will see you guys over in the Dame Dash and Jay-Z breakdown. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.